I booked a 15-night Panama Canal cruise 2 years ago with my daughter to celebrate her graduation from nursing school. It's a big deal. I'm single and really not rich. But with cruises, one can book long in advance and chip in a little money until it's paid and then add the extras as a bit more money shows up with every paycheck. We would have visited Fort Lauderdale, Colombia, Panama, the Locks, Costa Rica, Guatemala, and Mexico, and then ended in San Diego. I had plans of doing a decent ship tour. I had planned on doing an experiment where I would not take the drink package because for a 15-night cruise times 2, that's a lot of money. And I would have paid full price for all my alcoholic drinks and tally the cost at the end of the cruise to see if, for me, a drink package would have been worth it or not. I always book the drink package on shorter cruises. Now, it wasn't an Oasis class ship or the Navigator, but Serenade has plenty of charm. I was on her sister ship, Jewel, in May 2015. I've been counting down the days for this cruise for nearly 2 years. Today, 45 days left. 45 days left to nothing, I realize now. We have a global crisis, a pandemic to deal with, all of us. And it's going to cost so much money. And it's going to take a long time to get through it, especially for Europe and North America. China, it seems, has battled through the worst of it and is recovering at this point. And that's because of the draconian isolation measures they were able to impose and maintain on the population. This is not possible in a free society. We have to rely on individuals self-isolating, and many do, until they get bored or quote-unquote need something at the store, have a dinner party to attend, or spring break, I've heard and seen. I don't have it. I feel fine. I'm healthy. I'll pull through if I catch it. Let me ask you this. What if you do carry it and feel fine? Let me assure you that you are transmitting it to many others who will also transmit it to many others. And it won't be long until my 80-year-old father catches it and gets horribly sick and dies a terrifying death, gasping for air, unable to breathe. Think about that for a moment. Let that sink in. Someone's selfish carelessness could condemn my 80-year-old father and every other medically vulnerable person to a slow, agonizing death by drowning in their own pulmonary secretions. A slow, agonizing death by drowning. I implore everyone to practice strict self-isolation and safe social distancing when you need to occasionally shop for essentials. Now, I love cruising. The happiest moments of my adult life are walking up the gangway to board the ship on the first day of a cruise, and then parking my butt on a lounge chair on the pool deck with a drink in my hand, and walking around on deck 4 or 5 to be close to the sea, to hear her, to observe her with awe and respect. I think cruising will change. It has to adapt. I think some cruise lines will not survive this pandemic. The ones that do are already working diligently to come up with new policies and procedures to mitigate the reality of this new world. To, 1, get their healthy enough customers safely on board, and 2, keep them safe. And I'm just throwing these brainstorm ideas out there, but that might mean, or probably will mean, that the self-serve buffet is, for all intents and purposes, extinct. And I've witnessed plenty of instances of unsanitary practices by inconsiderate cruisers in the buffet lines, and I think most of us have. In my grocery store, for example, they're getting rid of bulk items to minimize the opportunities for contamination. It might mean a daily mandatory temperature check for both passengers and crew. It might mean running ships at less than capacity, which would dramatically increase their prices. It might mean longer turnover time between cruises, like a full day or two, to help ensure the ship gets an extra deep clean and the staff can get some rest, because overtired people are much more vulnerable to disease. It might mean imitating the Queen and wearing gloves in public. It might mean spreading the tables and chairs further apart. It might mean automatically isolating any passenger that coughs repeatedly, like more than X number of times in 5 minutes, for example. It might mean giving customers the ability permanently to rebook at a later date without penalty if their cruise date is approaching and they feel under the weather with cold or flu symptoms. And it probably means dozens of other measures that I can't think of that will change, that will evolve, that will adapt, like all of us in this new world. I've noticed a new open disdain, even contempt, toward the cruising industry and cruisers since this all started. And I just smile and nod because they clearly have never experienced the euphoria of the first cruise day. And I feel sorry for them. The cruising industry will adjust to the new world, and cruisers will as well. We are a determined breed. This crisis will pass, and the human race will adapt. Until then, stay safe, be considerate and kind, especially to the nurses and physicians who are risking their own safety through exposure in the front lines of this fight to save lives. Be kind to your supermarket cashier and stock person. Support your local small business as much as you can. Order takeout from restaurants that offer it to support them and their staff. Watch and re-watch cruising videos from your favorite vloggers. I find it helps fill the void. This is serious. Please take it seriously. We're all in this together. Much love, respect, and support to all from Canada.